Hi there, I'm Jennifer Angel, and today let's talk about positive self-talk, okay? How to banish negative thoughts and how to learn to change your stories, because that's really where it starts, We all want to think positive, but sometimes, our old stories just like get in the way. And, so I mean, it all starts with you and with each and every one of us. Like, we have to really just, first of all, recognize that, this is our story that we keep telling ourselves. And, sometimes, I mean, a story doesn't even have to do with the person that you are today. I mean, we can be telling the story for someone. Maybe it's funny, or maybe it's a good analogy that others can relate to. But guess what? Every time we tell that story to ourselves, it keeps taking us right back to that spot. And then we relive it and we get into those emotions and we leave and we think, oh my goodness, that was such a terrible thing. And so you're there, you get stuck in that spot. When you keep telling your stories, you can't move on. So you want to leave the stories in the past. And because chances are, every time, I mean, there is like data and research now to say that every time that we do tell a story, we sort of like can tend to embellish it a little bit. So it may not even be true. Okay. And so it's just this sort of story that we like to sort of revert back to. How much truth is actually in that story now? So here's 3 steps to change your stories. First of all, you want to recognize your story, like catch yourself telling it. Go, is this a good story for me? Does it help me move on? Does it help me be where I want to be? Or is it just like keeping me stuck? I just like to hang out in that area because I like to sort of have something to say. And so, and other people might resonate with it, sure, but what is it doing to you? Like, is it good for you? So you want to ask that question. So the first step, as I always say, like Mary Morrissey always reminds me of this, like the first thing you have to notice. So as soon as you notice that you're telling that story, guess what? You're starting to heal that. I mean, because once you notice it, you can then do something about it. You can go, wait on, stop. And you might like to just give yourself a little like, stop, or, and then you can switch it, because then that shocks you out of that space. And, you can shift that paradigm, because as I said, the more you keep telling the story, the more that it keeps you stuck. So guess what? Don't do it. Just stop it. Okay. There's a funny little video about that with Bob Newhart, if you can, research it, called Stop It. And, he goes on to say, you keep doing that. Is it good for you? No, then stop it. Okay. And now the next is to change the habit. Like, often our storytelling just becomes a habit, like we revert back to it. So get new stories, get more positive stories, inspiring stories, things of that you've done in the past, that you've accomplished, that you're proud of, or happy stories. So just like change the story, because guess what? This is your life and you are in control. Okay, you're in control of your thoughts, you're in control of your stories. So you can decide here and now what stories you want to keep telling and what stories you want to banish. Okay, so have some positive affirmations and some positive happy stories ready. So as soon as you notice that you're going back to that spot, you go, stop. And then you immediately just pivot and change your thoughts to the happy story, the positive story, or the story where you were proud of yourself, or something amazing happened in your life, and focus on that. And what prompted me to talk about this today is that I got my daily prime through from the John Assaraf program that I'm doing, and I'm going to read it to you. It's on my text. So, I thought it was interesting. So it goes, most people don't think about their habits as addictions, but science shows that they operate in very much the same way. Interesting, hey? One study published in the journal Nature Reviews Neuroscience found that dopamine plays a key role in both forming addictions and forming habits. So what does that mean? If you think that you may have a addiction to a bad habit like snoozing your alarm, guilty. I love to snooze on that alarm, not brushing your teeth, or try to create a reward system that each time you break the habit and switch over, you stop and you switch over to that more positive, happy story, then you feed yourself dopamine with a small award, just something like listening to your favorite song or making your favorite breakfast, or this can help, and this can actually help to rewire your brain's association with pleasure, and that helps to break the cycle of the addiction of telling your negative story. Okay, so I thought that was sort of interesting. All right, and the third step is say thanks. Practice thankfulness. So whenever you revert back to your story, switch your attention to the present, future, and be thankful for your life today. Be thankful for what that old negative story, what you learned from that. Okay, and if you don't think that you learned from anything from that experience, then you're not looking deep enough. Okay, I have a part of my program, in my self-mastery program, we work on resistance, and we work on where your resistance comes from, where those negative stories come from, how to break them down, how to replace them, how to gain insight and balance them out and get rid of them and see the blessing from it. That's really where the power is. When you can see how everything in your life, even your good stories, and your bad stories, how they served you and how they have contributed to the wonderful, amazing person you are today, then really that's where the power is. And as I said, we cover all that in that self-mastery program. I love that program. It's so transformational. Is that something you think that you would like some help on? Then I'm going to put down the bottom here my complimentary 20-minute session, which I use just to discuss coaching and programs. We can see whether it's going to be a good fit for you. Okay. So, when you practice thankfulness, and this small practice of thankfulness has the ability to make huge changes in your life with your attitude and your life. So give it a go. And I'll also put the link down where you can download you can download this handout. It's just I'm just going to share my screen and show you, and you can go in, put your email address in, and then you can download this PDF about changing your story. What's your story? Is it helping you? Is it hindering you? And the 3 steps to change that. Okay. And so, all right. So love and vision and wisdom to you, and I hope you're having a great year, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye for now.